Hey guys, this is me, Maria the Pilot. As you probably know by now, I'm a first officer flying the Boeing 737 around Europe. Well, that's how it used to be until, COVID-19 hit and then the aviation industry went like this. But don't worry, I'm not gonna get into that. I am sure we will be back in the air soon enough. Instead, in this video, I'm gonna get to speak with one of my absolute biggest role models, Neshat Jahandari. She has flown over 4,000 hours and is the youngest and only MD80 female captain of Iran. When she became an airline captain, this video went viral. And then last year, another fame wave came for her as she made history being the captain of the first all-female crew operating a flight from Tehran to the northeastern city of Mashhad. And we are two airline pilots from two different parts of the world. And today, I'm gonna get to talk with her for the very first time. I have a bunch of questions for her about her life, so let's get started. Neshat, first of all, I would just want to say, I am the biggest fan of yours. And I'm so happy that Victor introduced me to you. And once I realized who you are, you are such a fame. It's crazy. So I'm really happy we could have this talk. And thank you for taking your time. I have so many questions for you. So I think we should just dive straight to it. I want to know, what are your hobbies? What have you been up to on your free time where you live in Tehran? 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 Is that how I say it?
Tehran. We call it Tehran.
Tehran.
It is a
Tehran.
Yeah, nice.
The name of my city that I come from in Sweden. Kävlinge.
Kävlinge. I live in the north part of Tehran.
Ah, okay. Is that the part where it's always green and lush?
Green part of Iran, we call it Shomal. Before COVID-19, we had more hobbies, like going to the cinema and dining out. But now, practicing piano, playing board games, baking, cooking, these things.
I have to ask, do people recognize you when you're walking on the street or when you're at airports in your uniform?
Yeah, sometimes they do. I really appreciate their kindness.
Do people ever want to take pictures with you? How do you deal with that?
I enjoy it. They are so kind.
Awesome. I love that. Mostly I feel like people don't recognize me when I'm just walking on the street, but if I'm at an airport or if I'm flying and in my uniform, then I always will have people walk up to me, and I love it. I think it's great. It's so much fun. So I know that your husband is a pilot as well. How is it to be a pilot couple? I mean, I don't meet many pilot couples.
We totally understand each other. We know what it means to come home from a hard and busy flight day, to not be able to go to a party or ceremony because of a flight.
Exactly. And that's also kind of the hardest part with this job, I think. We are the busiest when people are on their holidays, in the summer. That's when we work the most. It's just nice to have a husband or a boyfriend that's in the same situation that you can just talk about work with, and they will totally understand. At least that's how it is for me. I feel like it's quite convenient. What would you say are the hardest challenging of being a female pilot?
I think up to a point it becomes normal. We have to be more conservative to be the best version of ourselves.
I could not have said it better. I totally agree with you. And it has to just become normal.
Right.
But sometimes you can get a nasty comment or something that's quite negative. And how do you deal with those discouraging comments?
For example, when I entered the pilot school, many were surprised. They said this is a male profession. is not suitable for me. When I'm certain that what I do is correct, I have already made my decision. So I keep doing my job without caring about negative or discouraging comments. It doesn't have any effect on my way. I believe that everyone who does his or her best in any field will certainly enjoy the result.
That's so powerful statement. What are some things people don't usually know about you?
I learned how to fly an airplane before I learned how to drive a car.
No way! Wow, that's pretty cool. You had your flying license even before you had your driver license.
My role model is my mom. I learned many things from her. To be strong, to be positive, to be brave, and so on and on.
Wow. Yeah, you definitely need people like that in your life. And I'm happy you have your mom.
How many times did you have a flight with a female pilot?
And this only happened once for me, that we were all females. Yeah, female captain, me as a first officer, and then the crew of 4 people in the cabin were all female. And that was the only time ever that happened. I hope that this trend of female seeing pilots as a future job, like that trend will just explode, and then in the future we will fly with so many more female pilots.
Great, I was surprised. I thought it could be so much more.
So I want to know, what's the story behind how you became a pilot? Like, what inspired you?
I was passionate about flying since I was 4 or 5 years old. I was so interested in airplane toys. I imagined myself as a pilot of them. I started studying aviation when I was 15 years old. At the age of 17, I joined a flight school as an air cadet. After that, I went to the university for academic education, Bachelor in Aviation Technology Engineering. After completing all pilot licenses, I also got my dispatch license to have more points on interviews.
That's so clever. I mean, you've been busy. So you were only 15, you had your first flight? Wow. So you made up your mind straight away when you were so young, and then you just continued in that path. And then was it last year you became a captain?
10 to 12 years ago, those days, there were no legal prohibition for women in the aviation field, but entering into a profession was not so easy. So although I had all required pilot licenses to work as a first officer, about 9 years ago, I entered an airline in office work to prove my abilities. After about 3.5 years, when I had worked so hard to get the company's permission to enter the pilot entrance exam, I passed the test and was accepted with merit. I worked as a first officer for about 5 years and upgraded to be a captain at the age of 29 last year.
Wow.
And I think my dream came true because of lots of hard work and not giving up to the challenges of the barriers along my way.
Yeah, no, I totally get where you're coming from. Like, it feels like we are a lot similar in that way. Like, we started both flying when we were pretty young. I was not 15, but I was about 17 years old when I had my first flight. And then I was inspired by my own dad, who has been a pilot his whole life. And that's how I kind of got introduced into the aviation world. And I felt like, that's so cool that he does pushing all those buttons. You know, I got to sit on the jump seat in the flight deck. And I was like, I want to do what this guy does. Like, this looks cool. So I've always felt like it was such a natural path for me to take that decision to become a pilot myself, because I had the support from both my parents. Do you feel like you've also been supported through your family and friends?
Yes, they are always supportive. My family believes in equality between men and women.
And that's really how it should be. I mean, 100%. This is what both of you, we stand for equality between genders. The last and final question. What is the best part of being a pilot?
Flying itself, it is joyful for me. The great feeling that you sense from following your childhood dream. Seeing the wonder of nature from the skies, all of them are great.
I couldn't have said it better myself. I mean, the view up there is the best. You won't have any better obvious views than up in the sky at 38,000 feet.
Exactly. You cannot compare anything with it.
Exactly. So I really hope we can actually meet each other in person one day. I would love to have a real Persian lunch with you one day. I've heard it's one of the best food cultures in the world. So one day I hope we can meet. But until then, these video calls are super cool and a fun way to get to know each other. And I just wanted to say thank you again for taking your time answering all my questions. And if you want to know anything, just put them in the comments right below this video and we're going to answer them together. Thank you again, Neshat.
Thank you very much. Thumbs up. Thank you very much. I really enjoyed it. Bye. Take care.
Hey, I'm back again. I hope you liked the video. Before you go, don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment. But if you're too lazy for that, just give it a thumbs up, okay? That's all I wanted to say. Hejdå!